Well, um, I'm ranking the kills in the Friday the 13th, 1980. And it's just going to be the kills in that first movie, obviously. I'm going to do this with them all. I've actually already done it. And then, long story short, when I switched my phones, the SD card didn't have the first two. So, filming those last. Number 10, we have Steve, who's stabbed in the gut right below frame, and he just goes, ugh! And it's the worst kill because there's like no blood. It's right in the middle of all the carnage, so we're expecting more at this point, and it's just the least satisfying kill. Number 9, we have Claudette, who's completely off screen, but it's such an iconic moment that it's like seared in your brain, and like it's more. You think of it more when you think of Friday the 13th than you do Steve going, ugh! So, boom. Number 8, we have Brenda, who is thrown through the window, who died off screen earlier. I'm counting the being thrown through the window as part of the kill. I don't do that with people that die and then their corpse is thrown through unless we don't see them die. So only like 1 in 5. But Brenda, yeah, number 8. Off screen, very vague bruises and blood, but no real implication of what happened. Still a very iconic moment, though. Number 7, we have Barry, who is also stabbed in the gut below frame, only with Barry, we actually see the blood. And my interpretation has always been that Barry and Claudette were the ones who were supposed to be watching Jason. And that's, to me, is why they're the only two that get killed back then. So that also adds a layer of twisted satisfaction. Number 6, we have Ned, one of my favorite off-screen kills, because his throat's slit, and I love this kill, because like Jack and Marcy are there, and they're like right outside the building he dies at, and when she screams for him, he doesn't come out, and Mrs. Loomis has to then drag his body out of that bathroom that they're right outside of to their cabin and put him in the bunk bed. And they're too preoccupied with themselves to notice any of that. And I think that's a pure, like, I think that's part of the motive of Mrs. Voorhees going after them, but also just the whole reveal of it's awesome. Like, there's just sex, and then right above that, death. And then right below that, the killer. We don't find that out until a little bit later. Number 5, we have Bill, another great off-screen kill where he's on the door, there's an arrow in his eye, his neck, his chest, and of course, his cock, and his throat slit for good measure. That's like, if that was the, like, on-screen, it would have been the most drawn-out, brutal kill of the first few movies, for sure. And just the fact that it's just casually, Alice is just walking, closes the door, and then boom, it's right there in your face. Awesome kill. Now we're in our top 4, and I think most people would probably put these in the top 4. Maybe Bill could be higher, but Mrs. Voorhees is up next with the decapitation from Alice. Fucking awesome decapitation. Love the hands coming up, like, it's just, mwah, love it. Gotta love when the final girl fights back enough to even injure the killer, but when they kill the killer, it's a whole other thing. Like, that is badass. That's survival instinct. Number 3, we got Annie, who gets her throat slit. The Janet Leigh of Friday the 13th, if you will. You're supposed to think she's the lead, then she just gets her throat slit. Doesn't have a lot to do with why it's so high. I just love the effect. But I also really like the character. So it has another effect. And now we're in our top 2, and I think for sure, most people will put these at their top 2. But most people would put my number 2 at their number 1, because my number 2 is Jack, who gets the arrow through the neck and all the blood, and of course, that's genius, it's great. I love when weapons are used in ways that they aren't supposed to be, like an arrow just being shoved through a bed through someone's neck without a bow. I love Friday the 13th. It's great. But my number 1 has to be Marcy, because that axe to the head is the most graphic thing in the movie. It's awesome, and I love the weight they give to the axe with the thing. Everyone knows about that, though. But just the whole boom, like, gore galore. Awesome. But that's my Friday the 13th, 1980. Kills ranked. Again, but you're not seeing the first one, because I wouldn't need to film this one if I had that one. Yeah. Catch you next time.